in which the Iroquois Confederacy, the British, and the French agreed to stop their campaign against tribes in the Ohio Country and allowed the evicted tribes to return to their homeland. By the mid-17th century, European ships were sailing to Africa laden with goods, which were to be traded for slaves. These slaves were transported in harsh conditions on crowded ships bound for the Americas, where they were forced to work on plantations. This resulted in more productivity for plantation owners. Further trade ships embarked to Europe, where a hungry market awaited highly priced merchandise. By the mid-18th century, France had laid claim to a vast amount of territory, whilst the English territory had evolved into 13 colonies. The English colonies were much smaller in land area compared to New France. However, they had a larger population. In 1754, the French-Indian War broke out between Britain and France over disputed lands in the Ohio River Valley. France began the construction of forts in the region. Britain sent troops to stop the construction, and conflict escalated into the 7 Years' War, a colonial war spread over several continents. The conflict ended in British victory and saw large amounts of French territory in the New World reassigned to Britain. However, following the 7 Years' War, the Crown amassed huge debts. In order to claw back monies, the British government imposed heavy taxes on the colonies. The first taxation was the Sugar Act, followed by the Stamp Act, where papers, magazines, and other documents needed to be produced in Britain and have a stamp tax on them. The colonists seriously disliked these taxes, promoting protest and boycotting of British goods. They believed that there should be no taxation without representation in Parliament. The British were forced to revoke the Stamp Act due to the negative consequences for British businesses. Instead, they introduced new taxes on glass, tea, lead, oil, which resulted in more protests, as these products were essential to the colonies. The Crown initially sent 1,000 troops to Boston to assert control. On March 5, 1770, conflict escalated when the protesters started throwing stones and snowballs at the guards of the Custom House. In the skirmish, shots were fired, killing 5 protesters, becoming known as the Boston Massacre. In 1772,